Welcome to Cinemanista. This segment is called Cinemanista Chats About a Classic. The classic I'm going to chat about today is the 1951 A Streetcar Named Desire. A Streetcar Named Desire is based upon the play A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. The film version is directed by Eliza Kazan and stars Vivien Leigh, aka Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind, and Marlon Brando, aka Don Corleone from The Godfather. A Streetcar Named Desire tells the story of a fired school teacher from Mississippi who travels to New Orleans to stay with her sister Stella, played by Kim Hunter, and Stella's husband Stanley, played by Brando. A Streetcar Named Desire is just a pretty wonderful, perfect, great film. It's a sexy film, but at the same time a very sexist film. Vivien Leigh was nominated for Oscar and won Best Actress for her role as Blanche Dubois, and she definitely was deserving of that. She just is Blanche Dubois. She's just a sight to watch. You never want to take your eyes off of her as Blanche, and Blanche is a very damaged character. When she arrives in New Orleans, she is already on the brink of insanity, it seems. And by the end of the movie, she's gone. She's just start crazy. Her character is funny at times, but not on purpose, I don't think. And she's definitely tragic, but at the same time, she's sensual at the same time. Blanche, she is was a school teacher, and she was fired from her job for sleeping with a student. So she is a pedophile. Then she became a prostitute. So yes, Blanche is very broken, and unfortunately, her brother-in-law Stanley, played by Brando, he consents that Brando, he's equally wonderful as Stanley. He just is Stanley as Leigh is Blanche. You definitely cannot take your eyes off of Brando. He walks around with his chest puffed out, his muscular chest, and these very fitted t-shirts that are drenched with sweat. And actually, the t-shirts that he wears, because fitted t-shirts couldn't be bought during that time, the t-shirts he wears in the film had to be washed repeatedly and then sewn in the back to tighten them up. But yes, Brando definitely just embodies all that Stanley is, and Stanley is a brute. He's a chauvinist pig. He's abusive, and he is a rapist by the end of the film. And Stanley, he's married to Stella, which is Blanche's sister, and Stella, played by Kim Hunter, she's really great as the softer side of Blanche, probably what Blanche was before she became this broken woman that she is now, when she arrives at an Elysian Fields of all places for Stanley and Stella to live in. And MITCH, played by Carl Malden, he's great as Vivien Leigh's, Blanche's love interest, and he's also plays kinda almost Stanley's maybe if Stanley has the angel and devil, probably Stanley is on the devil side himself, but Mitch probably would be on the angel side, and he's more compassionate. He's more intelligent, and he's just more cultured than Stanley is. A Streetcar Named Desire definitely wasn't released without controversy during the time it was released, due to some of the racy content of the film, especially three key scenes, and those scenes are starting from the most potent scene, the rape scene, where Stanley rapes Blanche. And the scene, of course, the rape isn't shown, is implied by a mirror being broken, and right after that scene is cut, after he grabs Blanche, and then you see the mirror being broken right after. Someone is outside of excuse me, Elysian Fields, where they live, watering down the sidewalk, and you see the long holes and the water gushing out of the holes, and this could very well represent ejaculation. And then ironically, right after, the next scene shows Stella's new baby, which is very, very ironic, the innocence. That was taken from Blanche, well, if she had any innocence left, being that she was a prostitute. But yeah, that's one of the most controversial scenes of the movie. And the next controversial scene is the classic infamous scene, the STELLA scene, where after Stella and Stanley get into a fight, and he punches her, and keep in mind that Stella at the time is pregnant with their child, and she leaves the apartment, and he goes outside chasing her, and then he's pleading for her to come back, and he yells, his famous line, "Hey Stella! Hey Stella!" But obviously more powerful than that. But that's just a great, very classic scene in itself. And it's controversial because Stella comes down, of course, and the look on her face when she comes down the stairs is she's just highly aroused by Stanley, and Stanley's shirt is ripped and he's drenched in water, and it's a very sexy scene, and she's descending a staircase to this very sultry, jazzy, bluesy music. And when she reaches the bottom stairs where Stanley is, he drops to his knees, and they embrace in this passionate kiss. So definitely racy during the 50s. And the next controversial scene is a scene where Blanche is trying to seduce a paper boy, and she's offering him a drink, and then she asks him for lights for a cigarette so he can stay longer, and then finally she just says she wants to flat out kiss him, and definitely that is that would definitely be considered a very racy scene during the 50s. And these scenes were they were either cut or slightly tweaked from the theatrical release and then restored on DVD. So it's great that audiences now can see the director's version, how he really intended those scenes to be. The other great line, famous line, classic line in Streetcar Named Desire is Blanche's line at the end of the film where she finally is just broken after she is raped, broken completely, and she's just stark crazy, and she as she's being taken away by a doctor, she says, "I have always depended upon the kindness strangers," and that's definitely a classic line. But Streetcar Named Desire, it was nominated for Oscar for Best Picture during the time of the Oscars, when it was released, but unfortunately it didn't win. And very surprisingly, Marlon Brando, he was nominated for an Oscar for his role as Stanley, but I don't know how he didn't win, but he did not win for Stanley Kowalski. Interestingly enough, Vivien won for Best Actress, and Kim Hunter won for Best Supporting Actress, and Carl Malden won for Best Supporting Actor as Mitch, and as of 2003, A Streetcar Named Desire is just of two films that have been nominated for Oscars 3 times for acting, so that's a pretty cool feat. A Streetcar Named Desire definitely is a movie to definitely rent on DVD, Blu-ray, if you never ever saw it before. It's definitely highly enjoyable, and it's definitely, I agree with most critics that it's definitely a classic film. And if you happen to watch it, I hope you highly enjoy it. It's just a wonderful movie. This is Cinemanista, and this is Cinemanista Chats about a classic, talking about A Streetcar Named Desire.